Hi, I'm Gene McLaughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. On this program, the mayor has the opportunity to talk to you about things taking place in the township and to bring you interesting people that are making those things happen. And speaking of interesting people, I'm delighted to welcome our new Director of Parks, Recreation, and Social Services, Matt Mercurio. Matt, welcome. Good to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me, Gene.
Okay, Mayor, how have you been?
I'm good, Gene. Feeling better?
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And the snow stayed away, so...
So far, but don't jinx it.
No, I don't want to jinx it. Every time we talk about it, we have some snow, but we don't want to jinx it.
We're about halfway through the snow season.
Okay, that's right. We only got a couple more weeks to go, right?
We have a few more weeks to go. The groundhog said we have at least 6 more.
6 weeks, right.
So we're not just going to take the plows off just yet.
Okay.
And then we have the tail end of 18, November, December.
Right. Well, we won't
which
even.
is our
Okay.
snow season. But we are prepared better than ever.
Good.
To meet, and we've met every challenge we've had so far this year. So not that it's been a challenging year, but we have gone out and cleared the roads a number of times.
Okay, well, good, Mayor, and let's hope it stays that way, huh? Mayor, one thing you and I had discussed off the air was the energy aggregation program. Mm-hmm. There's been some changes. Could you just enlighten people on this?
Sure. Thanks for bringing that up, Gene, because a lot of people have called my office. The energy joined this program about 2 years ago, and the reason was to save. There was a potential there to save money. For the residents of Old Bridge, residential residents of Old Bridge. And the program was very successful. Right. Collectively, well over $2 million was saved. But that contract was up, and that contract was with South Jersey Energy. Mm-hmm. And then we put the load out, as that's what you want to say, the energy load for the town. And the bids came back this time in early December, and they were not favorable. They were not. Really? There was no savings. Substantial savings involved. So our generation went back to our tariff company, which is First Energy. They have the rights to generate power here in Old Bridge, and that's who we're getting our power from now, First Energy. But it's still at a reduced rate. I think this is market driven.
Yes, sir.
And over the past few years, all the generation companies now have had to become more competitive. So we're still exploring options. We're going to put the town out again in the spring when we think there'll be more favorable conditions once the winter's over, and these companies that forecast the future and the demand of energy needs now will have a winter behind them. So we're confident that we're going to continue to get low rates of energy generation here in Old Bridge, regardless of who the generation company is. I recommend everyone, if you want to continue in the program, to do nothing.
That's what I was going to say. They do nothing.
I've done
right
do
now.
Nothing.
Okay.
I don't mean that in a negative way. Do nothing.
No.
But don't do anything with your electric generation.
Yes,
and if you are thinking of going to a third-party provider, please do your homework. I've heard nightmare stories of people who have signed on to third-party generation supply brokers, if that's what you want to call them, and they didn't read the fine print, where a severe winter or a severe demand in electric will increase their rates, as opposed to the contracts we are in. They're guaranteed rates for the length of that contract. So our rate now is guaranteed with our tariff provider. The only one that could raise that rate is the BPU right now. So, so I dare say anyone, just like I said, do nothing. Wait and see
what
attitude.
unfolds.
If you have any questions, contact my office. We'll put you in charge of the people that handle it for the town, Gable Associates, very knowledgeable. And they'll answer any question you might have. I know there were some issues with the average billing. I was on the average pay. You pay the same amount every month.
Yes, sir.
And the last month of South Jersey Energy, I received a large bill. But then I realized, I owed the money because I was on an averaging bill, so I owed the money for electric I used in the summer when I was paying a very low rate, a very low bill, and they didn't have enough time to average it out for the year. So I know there's a lot of questions people have. Call my office, we'll get the answers you need. But thanks for bringing that up, Gene.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I think it's time to bring our guest into action here. You sitting there by yourself there, Matt. Matt, again, welcome to the administration as the Parks and Recreation Manager. Could you give us a little background? How did you get here? What's your background?
Well, I'm born and raised in Old Bridge. I went to school at Montclair State University. Originally went for business administration. Took one recreation class and decided to change majors into recreation and leisure studies. Not an easy conversation to have with your parents that you're changing from business administration to something with the word leisure in it.
Yes, sir.
I started taking recreation classes. That was my major in Montclair State. During my senior year at Montclair State, the superintendent of Parks and Recreation in Hanover Township had came and spoke in my class. I followed him out and asked him if I would be able to intern for him. So I interned with Hanover Township Parks and Rec for 6 months for free when I was still in college. Wound up getting a full-time opportunity there. Was there for 8 years, worked my way up to superintendent of Parks and Recreation in Hanover Township. Then I served Tenafly and Alpine up in Bergen County for 5 years. And for the last year before I started here, I was in Scotch Plains.
Okay.
When this job became available, knowing how long my predecessor had been here, I figured this was would probably be one of the only opportunities during my work career to apply to Obridge. It's something, ever since I got in this field, this was one of the jobs I was very, very interested in.
Okay, well, thank you, Matt. Matt, you know, when you look at your title alone, Parks, Recreation, Social Services, a broad portfolio.
Yes.
I thought what we might do today is just tiptoe through a few of your many activities and many responsibilities if we could, okay?
Perfect.
One of the things is the spring program is upon us.
Yep.
You're taking registrations. Could you elaborate, please?
So registration for all our spring programs are ongoing now. Some of our spring programmings that have been huge hits in the past, we have crafting classes, we have arts and crafts classes, we have dance classes that are currently ongoing. We have 2 or 3 classes of mommy and me classes that start with kids who can be as early as 2 years old.
Really?
There's a crafty kids class and there's a kids gourmet chef class. And what that class is, it's really teaching your child at a young age how to eat healthy and nutritious, and it might give the moms and dads who go to that class their own recipes that they can go home and do with their children.
And Matt, what's the turnout for these? What kind of registration do you get?
A lot of our classes are full based on the instructor and the class size. Most of our classes for these programs are about in between 10 and 15. However, if we've reached that limit of 15 and you go to register online, you'll automatically get put on a wait list. Okay. Once that wait list reaches a certain amount where we can get a second instructor or offer a second class, we go ahead and do that. And if our limit's 15 and we have 16 and it's just that one person on the wait list, we do everything we can to get them involved in that program.
One thing I noticed, Matt, in your program, we talked about a little bit off the air, Mayor, this sort of caught my attention too. What is Brixology?
So Brixology, we've been working with a group called Mad Science, which is pretty large in New Jersey. They come in and they offer educational type classes. Obviously, recreation isn't just sports.
Right.
Mad Science started pitching this Brixologies program about 3 or 4 years ago to other towns in the state. And really what it is, it's the beginning of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, which is huge in all the schools. And what this Brixology class is, it uses Lego blocks to do a different sort of engineering every week. So we have mechanical, we have bioengineering, we have aerospace. So every week for the 8-week session, you're going to build something different using a different type of engineering theme.
And the participants are age-wise?
The participants range, our first, I guess, pilot program you can do is going to be from 6 to 10-year-olds.
Wow.
But it is something that if it did have success, we might be able to run a summer mini camp after our regular camp season's over.
Okay, thank you, Matt. You know, Mayor, one thing I would like to turn to a little bit and get your involvement into is the senior center. Okay, Matt and I have talked about this at some length. The senior center has undergone some changes, rebranding being one of them. What was the genesis of the rebranding?
Gene, I go around and I meet with a lot of mayors and a lot of conferences, and we saw that the term senior center wasn't what it used to be. This isn't a place to come and sit and get old, and you know, science and studies have proven that seniors who stay active and do creative things live longer, have a better quality of life. So we wanted to rebrand it. We had a lot of people avoiding the senior center. You know, I'm 60 years old. I'm not a senior. You know, I'm not ready to go sit and you know, and sit there or watch TV. I want to come to a place that has programs, that's active, that I actually enjoy coming to every day, and that's what I think we've done. I think we've branded our, we're not even allowed to say senior center anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
It's Silver Linings.
Big change.
I call
where
it
did Silver Linings come from? That's what I'm curious
about. We had a
about.
contest, and one of our employees came up with the saying. So, and I thought, you know, active adults.
Right.
You name it, it's going on over
So
there.
it's Silver Lining Center, no senior anymore.
No.
Okay, very interesting.
And we just think we're keeping up with
That's the trends toward youth.
Yeah, as our population gets older, but at the same time it's getting older, younger. I don't know if I'm making sense. People are retiring
I
at
think
younger
people are
ages.
retiring at younger ages, getting more active, staying more active for wellness.
Active, living longer.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's important that we stay with the tide, as they like to say.
Okay.
And Diane's done a great job, and Hida and the whole entire staff has embraced this.
Yeah, that's
attendance is good. We can still take more. We like to see more participation, and just to see the different programs that have been initiated over the last few years.
Well, that's what
It's
Matt
really
has
amazing.
touched on.
It's amazing.
I know, I see that.
The
Matt,
artistic quality.
I'm sorry, Matt.
The artist, just the artists and the musicians and the singing and the dancing.
Yeah.
We still have the bingo, but
Just like a big go.
we still have the cards.
A mainstay,
Yeah,
right.
that's a mainstay.
Matt, what about the food? You were discussing food and changes in food and the kind of food that's being presented.
Right. So we have a food bank. Our food bank is located in our municipal complex.
Yes, sir.
We take donations really on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. But in the past, we were only taking some of the non-perishable goods.
Right.
We have freezers now, so we take perishable and non-perishable goods. We service now probably about 200 families. We're lucky that we have a partnership with McFoods. They help supply us with a lot of the stuff that we use and that we distribute, but we get a lot of it locally from all of the schools. Do local drives that help benefit our food bank. Over the summer, our camps do a drive as well. And just for everybody out there, we will take anything we can get at any point. We usually have a lot of people who come around the holidays, but believe it or not, there's also a big need in the summer when a lot of our youth who might be getting discounted lunch don't have that opportunity anymore in the summer. And a lot of us are maybe out busy, but in the summer, think about us, come by, and please help us.
I'm amazed, Mayor, at the generosity of many of the vendors in this area, many of the storekeepers that supply us too. Over the years, we've seen them bring in a lot of food.
Everywhere I go, Gene, everybody, who should we help? I said, well, we have the food bank. And in fact, this Sunday, one of our local organizations had a food drive for the Old Bridge Food Bank this Sunday for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
They called it the Super Bowl. Bring
Timely.
bring canned goods to come watch the Super Bowl, and a lot of food was donated that day. So it's constantly,
Yeah.
and as Matt said, the need for food is all year long, not just around. I think it comes to us Thanksgiving and
Right.
Christmas,
Right.
around the holidays. So please, if you have an organization, you want a worthwhile cause, set up a food drive. If it's once a month, once every 2 months, and you can bring the material here, and it's appreciated. I can tell you that.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Matt, people can come get food whenever they're regular participants in the program. They can come and get food. If
Right,
people
we
are
have
having
regular
problems.
participants in our program that obviously meet with Diane and Anna, and we get them all registered, and then they work a time that works within their schedule and our schedule to come and pick up their goods.
And Diane used to prepare baskets and put
Yep.
them in packages, put them in the baskets and tag them, and people can
Yep,
come.
and we still do that.
Fantastic
We're
service.
lucky enough that we have a good amount of volunteers that will even,
Right.
help bring the stuff to your car with you.
Okay, thank you, Matt. And I'm going to ask you both if you'd hold your thoughts for a moment, please. Folks, we're getting ready to take a break right now. Our guest is Matthew Mercurio, who is our new Director of Parks, Recreation, and Social Services. And we're going into some of the many responsibilities that Matt has. Please stay with us, and we'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in. Help yourself to anything.
That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ache than never. To learn more, visit savethefood.com.
Caring for a family member can be challenging and lead to countless questions for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Drop that baby.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Folks, welcome back to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Today's guest, as I mentioned, is Matthew Mercurio, who is our new Director of Parks, Recreation, and Social Services. We just finished discussing one aspect of Matt's responsibility, and we're going to move on to some other subjects right now. One of them I'd like to talk about a little bit, if I may, Matt, is the Camp Robin program.
Yeah.
This has been around for many years, very popular. Could you elaborate on what's going on with that now?
So our Camp Robin program is for residents of Old Bridge in need. Our Camp Robin program offers recreational opportunities for children and for adults. We start with some of our children are in there at the age of 6, and we go all the way up to adults. Right now we're offering them recreational opportunities. As we speak right now, we have a small group up at the Winter Special Olympics up at Mountain Creek. We have in between 8 and 10 speed skaters up there right now. Something else that we've added recently is our swim team, which we actually swim out of the Y right now on Sunday mornings.
Matt, if I may, who would be eligible for this program? We have a lot of new residents in the township who may be just dipping into this show at this time.
Right.
Who is eligible to participate in the Camp Robin program?
Our eligibility, we do have, I guess you could say, rules and regulations as to who is accepted into the program. But if your child has a special need, or your adult has a special need, they are welcome in our program. We have one-on-one aids for those who require a one-on-one aid. And then obviously we keep our staff to client ratio very, very low.
One thing that's amazed me, Mayor, when we've been up there is the dedication of the people that work up there, not only the paid people, but the volunteer people.
It says a lot about our community, Gene. Excuse me. I think it makes Old Bridge stand out.
Yeah.
Where I think we're only one of the very few in the state of New Jersey that has a municipal sponsored program. And we actually, get involved, actually run the program, finance, So it says a lot about a community who takes care of the people who really can't take care of themselves.
Yes, sir.
So, and I'm very proud of our program. And I know I've said publicly, and I've challenged Matt and his department that we're going to come up with a full-day adult program here in Old Bridge in 2018. I've set that as a goal, and I think we're going to achieve our goal and be able to now, because there's age requirements, and once someone with special needs becomes an adult in the eyes of the state, it's completely different. Okay. So we're going to be getting that adult program. I think stay tuned. So it gives a light of hope for a lot of parents, a lot of families who are raising someone or in the care for special needs.
As they reach adulthood, as you
Correct.
said. What kind of programs would be involved in adult?
Right now we have our trips program that runs on Friday and Saturday nights. We do that in the fall, we do that in the spring, and then we run a camp in the summer. But some of the recreational activities will go to everywhere from a baseball game.
Really?
We'll go to painting classes off site. We'll go to dinner at local restaurants. We go roller skating. We go to the movies. Those programs sell up extremely quickly.
They do.
They are Friday night and Saturday night programs. It doesn't only benefit the client, it benefits the client's family, because then maybe they have a little bit of time on their own for mom and dad, maybe to go out and have a date night or something like that. So it benefits the whole family, not just the client who we're serving there up at the Camp Robin building.
But that's certainly a worthwhile goal, Mayor.
But no, our goal now is we're not going to do the recreational programs.
Right.
Our adult program is going to focus on getting that special needs person reaching their potential to get back into society, perhaps get a job, perhaps whatever that individual can contribute to society. We're going to try to bring that out in that person and actually become a functioning.
So this would require some special training.
Oh yes, a completely different ball game, as we like to say, but we're ready to take on that challenge. There are organizations in the state of New Jersey who do this successfully, and we want to be part of that. And Old Bridge wants to be a partnership in that.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Matt, when this comes to fruition, we'll have to have you back to
I would
discuss
love to
about it in
discuss
greater length, okay? Speaking of taking care of people, those who need help, let's talk about the daycare program. We have the before and after daycare program.
Sure.
Can you touch on that? Because I remember that started years ago and
Yep.
started slowly, as you remember, Mayor, and then it picked up steam. Where are we now?
So it started actually, I think, as a pilot program in 1989. It's really unique to recreation departments. There might only be 2 or 3 others besides Old Bridge right now whose recreation departments run before care and after care. We are obviously a large school district, so we run before care and after care at all 12 of our public elementary schools, and we run after school programs in Sauk and Sandburg, which means you as a parent can drop your kid off at, let's say, Carpenter School. You can drop your son or daughter off there as early as 7 o'clock in the morning and pick them up as late as 6 o'clock at night. Our staff, a lot of our staff, we're lucky, are school teachers who kind of help us out. They obviously have a relationship with a lot of the kids. We serve over 700 kids right now in our entire program, and we employ about 120 staff members just for our before care and after care programs.
120 staff members?
Yes.
To take care of, wow, I had no idea it was that magnitude.
Yeah, it's rather large.
And it's grown.
It has grown.
And Gene, and again, we stand out as a
Yes, sir, I was
community
gonna say,
who
yeah.
offers this to the parents,
Right.
which in turn saves them a fortune when it comes to daycare.
Definitely.
Some towns you have to bring, if you're working, you have to bring your individual to a separate, building or a daycare center, and then that student is then brought to the school, then is picked up from the school and brought back to an outside agency. So we do it right in the school buildings, affordable.
Yeah, I remember when that started, that whole thing started.
Safe.
Yes, sir.
Our school security detail is assigned during those hours of operation. So the parents now know that there's a whole program in place. It's not go there, they're not running around like nuts.
Yeah, well, as you say, there's
put
some
that many
safety
kids.
there, some certainty there, too.
And that's why the staffing is there to make sure that every minute they spend before and after care is productive for that student. They can do their homework, they can study, they can prepare themselves for the day's classes.
Right.
And after care, we provide a snack and a drink as well. And if you break down the hourly rate, if you're sending your child 5 days a week for before care and after care, you're paying under $3 an hour.
Really? That's
for that.
definitely a bargain by
It is
any
a huge,
measure.
huge bargain.
Matt, what happens when school ends? Now
Right.
you don't have school.
Right.
What happens at before and after?
Before and after care actually then rolls into our full day camp program.
Okay.
We know obviously by the 700 plus people that are in our program now, we know that there's a need for full-time day camp programming.
Yes.
So we're actually doing our registration for that in March. You can check our website, www.oldbridge.com/recreation. And on there, when you go to our daycare link, we do full day camp, which can start just like our regular times of our before care and after care, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We start that July the 2nd, and we run it all the way through August the 25th. So we try to cover as many possible weeks as we can for our families and for our employees. But we do that for children who've completed kindergarten all the way up to people who are in high school. We have camp options for that.
Really?
So really, how we're set up, you can do camp options for your whole childhood, and then that next year you can hopefully turn around and apply to work at one of our camps.
Wow.
So you can be
Sounds
with
pretty
us
good,
for a
man.
long,
The programs
long
are
time.
unbelievable. I saw the calendar
Right.
for the camp. We'd have
They're
to put
stuffed.
It is every day. There's trips going to places that as a kid you could only dream of
Right.
going.
Yeah,
and
I'm
wouldn't
sure.
have the opportunity to go unless Old Bridge gave that opportunity.
And we're large enough that a lot of those places with our quantity, we can rent those places out that it's just us.
Just for the whole day.
there on
That's
those
cool.
days.
That's
yes.
very nice. Okay. One last thing, if we can touch on before we go, and that is, Mayor, you may want to address this, the Municipal Alliance. Matt, before you came, we started this alliance between our Municipal Alliance, the hospital, the school system. Mayor, how's that going?
It's going great, Gene. We have a lot going on with our Municipal Alliance. Everyone knows it's for the prevention of drug and alcohol abuse, focusing on school-age children, and it's just we could spend the whole day on the changes that have occurred. You've mentioned we brought the hospital on board.
Yes, sir.
The school district and the recreation department and my administration is very focused on providing parents with education, providing the students with examples on how to live, making good decisions. And the Alliance is also focused on, unfortunately, we have to focus on getting people treatment.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have to focus on people who are grieving with the loss of a loved one due to alcohol or drug abuse. So we are just, we're very busy, as we should be in this day and age. Everybody knows what's going on in our country with the abuse of prescription drugs and the move to heroin. So it's something we need to do as a community. We are doing it. I'm optimistic. I think I'm not going to say we've turned the corner, but I think we've reached a point now where more people are getting help than they were. More parents are being informed.
That was
than
the
they
question
were.
we had discussed, the education of
Yes.
the parents.
And we're starting. The school district has come with the whole curriculum.
Right.
Now, where I think everybody, I don't think there's a grade section that isn't being put right into the daily, teaching in the school about what decisions should
But that's new, Mayor, right? Integrating
it's
that.
over the last year
Year or so, yeah.
integrating, and it's going to keep growing. It's going to be, that improvement, as we get more of the professionals involved to bring more information to the parents, because now they have a pretty good idea of why it happens. We know
Right.
how it happens.
Yes, yes.
So now we're going to focus on how to prevent it.
Well, I always was impressed, too, by the Alliance making attempts with the students to drive safely, too.
Yeah. SAD.
With the SAD group,
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Folks, I think we're getting close to the end of the show, but Matt, before we go, as the newcomer to the town, to the administration, do you have a message for the residents? What would you like to say to the residents about your department, about your activities?
We are one of the largest service providing departments in the town. We are here to serve Old Bridge, all the residents. We program for kids 2 years old up to 102. At the same point, we lean on the feedback that we get from Old Bridge. We have a large staff of trained professionals in recreation, but we want to hear from the residents what you guys want to do. Our doors are always open. We're always looking for new, innovative programming, ideas, certain things like that. You can find us on our website. Once you go on the rec website, which is www.oldbridge.com
We'll put that on the screen,
/recreation.
okay.
Once you go through all of those, you can see everything that we offer. If there's any questions, our office hours are 8:30 to 5 p.m. Please come in and talk to us. It's not Matt Mercurio's recreation department. It's not anybody's recreation department. It's Old Bridge Recreation Department, and we're here to meet the needs of our residents.
Well, thank you for coming in, Matt. Really appreciate you taking the time today. And Mayor, Mr. Mercurio seems to be up and running, huh?
As I think everyone knows, in Old Bridge, Matt has a daunting task in front of him. I believe he's capable. I wouldn't have picked him
Right.
for the job. It was a tough decision, but I think he has all the tools that's needed to succeed. If anyone just thinks for a few minutes on just the amount of work that needs to be done, all the things we talked about today,
Yeah.
and that's not even touching the surface.
I know.
About all our fields and all our other leagues and all our other sports that we get involved with here at the local level, and the amount of children here that are involved, and adults. We have adult leagues. It's just a daunting task, but Matt's he's up to it.
Yes,
I know
sir.
he is, and we're here to support him, and we're here to give him the tools he needs to succeed. But we're also going to hold him accountable. So.
Okay. Well, Matt, again, thank you for being here, and much luck going forward. And we'll have you back to talk about the summer program.
I appreciate you having me, sir.
Okay.
Thank you
and
very
folks,
much.
thank you. We've been talking with Matt Mercurio today about the parks, recreation, and social service programs in the township. Want to thank you for watching. I'm Gene McLaughlin. We'll see you next time on another Old Bridge Outlook. Take care.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.